Parsha Beshalach, Bnei Israel are leaving Egypt, and in the rearview mirror they see that the Egyptians are chasing them. Yinei Mitzrayim nosea acharehem. The Egyptians are nosea, are traveling or chasing after them. Nosea is the verb in the singular. Nosea, as if one person is chasing Bnei Israel, but really it's all the Egyptians, which prompts Rashi to quote the tradition that nosea acharehem really means belev echad ki'ish echad. It's referred to as the Egyptians as a plurality, are referred to as nosea, one pursuing Bnei Israel, because it was done belev echad ki'ish echad, with one purpose, belev echad, with one motivation, ki'ish echad, like one person. There was a unity of spirit among the Egyptians to chase after the Jewish people. This language, belev echad ki'ish echad, probably prompts us to think about a version of that, an inverted version of that, when we get to next week's Parsha. In Parsha's Yisro, Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ahar, before the Jews received the Ten Commandments at Mount Sinai, it tells us that the Jewish people encamped, Vayichan, a plurality of Jews, Vayichan camped, and the Torah uses the singular version of the word camped, Vayichan, instead of Vayachanu, which prompts Rashi to quote the Medrash to tell us, Ki'ish echad belev echad, that the Jewish people camped as a plurality, but singularly with single purpose, ki'ish echad, like one person, belev echad, with one heart, with one motivation. What's the difference is there a difference between the description of the Egyptians as belev echad ki'ish echad, with one heart, like one person, and the Jewish people at Mount Sinai who are called ki'ish echad, belev echad? So if Hutner says, yes, there's a fundamental difference. The Egyptians were disparate. They didn't necessarily view themselves as unified. But they had a common enemy, the Jewish people. They had a common cause. When it was time to gather as part of a common cause, belev echad, then they manifested themselves with unity, with the spirit of unity, ki'ish echad. It was what I would call a pragmatic unity, a unity that was based on a given need at a given time. It wasn't a unity that permeated all of their identities. Contrast that to Bnei Israel. Bnei Israel, after leaving Egypt and reaching the pinnacle at Mount Sinai, are ki'ish echad belev echad. Before we talk about a pragmatic unity, before we talk about Jews coming together for a common cause, the underlying principle, the fundamental principle is ki'ish echad, an essential unity, not merely a pragmatic unity, an essential unity that permeates each of our lives, our community's lives at large, ki'ish echad, and then that manifests itself at times belev echad, with a common purpose. I think that's the challenge, that's the charge that we have as Jews. All peoples, says Rav Hutner, can have belev echad, can have a common cause at a given moment in time, and then act with unity. It's only uniquely the Jewish people that are ki'ish echad. Above all else, there is a unity. There is a sense of responsibility, a sense of belonging, a sense of unity, of a unity that is essential, that transcends any given cause and that transcends any given disagreement that we may have. And then hopefully we use that common essential unity, belev echad, to manifest itself in many different pragmatic ways to better ourselves and the world around us. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbat.